morning. Like I said, this is a touching thing. It just pull at your heart, tug at you so much. This message right here. You know, it's about, we talked the other day, last week, and God just smacked me in the face, poof, during the snow. Parker called us about 3 or 4 times checking on him. I see it on TV, it's up there. He's in Alabama, our friend used to come stay with us. He got too old and he couldn't do it. But he was telling us a story. See, he traveled everywhere, went to Israel 36 times the other day. Teached over Israel. Teach preachers over. Anyway, he went all over the world almost. France, went to all these places that had information and had stuff on God and Jesus, you know, and scrolls and different things. He's seen them. These been thousands of years old in these big glass things. Anyway, he was telling us, he said, you know, it been on his mind and he'd go back over. Where Alex, he went over yonder in Germany. Went in Germany, he said, they went up there and it was a tour thing. And he was right there, watching this big building. In this big building, and there was, he said 1 million people's ashes.
Jews, not people, the Jews.
Yeah, the Jews. Well, it was still, they was the Jews. And all of this, if you go around, it was all because of Christ. Mm-hmm. Jews and Christ. That was what he hated. He hated. He killed 1 million. He said that was a pile. Mm-hmm. That's what was there. It's still there. He said they was looking up at you. You could about see that they was looking up in people at you when you staring at that pile of ashes.
But he also saw a big pile of like shoes too.
Yeah, he said the shoes.
That would be awful.
Shoes, just piles
of people's shoes.
Little ones, big ones, it doesn't matter. But they died. See, all these people died for what? It was all revolved around Christ. Mm-hmm. What people went through. Yeah? What they went through. That's what I'm talking about today. That's what we're going to talk about today. God smacked me in the face with that. He said, hey, you gotta preach on this message. Giving me some stuff. He said, I want to tell you this, what we're going to talk about. And today we're going to talk about the start of Jesus and the things that happened before him and after him. The persecution, the stuff. The title of this thing, I guess, if you could, it'd be have you suffered for Jesus' sake? Have we suffered for Jesus' sake? And listen to this, you know, we go through things and we say, you know, we went through a lot, and we do. But listen to what these people went through. You know, we think we've done so much that we went through, and that some people went through a lot of hell. Some people suffered through a lot of hell. But it's nothing compared to what these went through. People we're going to talk about. Baby's going to read some here in just a minute. But we're going to go back a little bit. We're going in the Old Testament. That's where it all starts. God comes through out of the Old Testament into the New. It just reacts itself. Jesus took the old and just took one end of the new. Told the stories back there into the new. Anyway, we're going to go into Matthew. Help me, Jesus. We're going into Matthew chapter 2, verses 1 and 3, and then go down into 7 and 8, and go on down a little bit, and from 11 to 12, and then 16, verse 16. These are the key things that I want you to focus on this morning. Key things. We'll go back over in just a minute. But if you go back a little in the Old Testament, Allison, when Moses, he brought the people out of Egypt. You know, that was the story in here that God let us know. But before that, when he was born back in that time, they knew, the king knew, that these children, male children, if they grew up and women kept having them, that their religion, or what they stood for, a form of God, was going to get so many that it would overtake his kingdom. That's what we learn about. Here he is. So he says, I want to kill them. You kill all the male boys up to a certain age, or just 1 year old.
Well, he wanted the midwives to kill all the males.
Yeah.
As soon as they were born, throw them in the river as soon as they was born.
But they didn't do it. But he wanted them slaughtered because what they stood for. What they stood for. And here he is, if you go down the road a little bit in the Bible, that he brought out how many? Moses, 1 million plus. Moses brought out 1 million plus. That's a lot of babies. A lot of little kids. And we're going to go into this right here. Now, just let that stay in your mind. Let this sort of float around in your brain here. Here it is. All of these is done men. He wanted them gone. Sacrificed. Because he wanted them that way. It's cruel back in, man. It's cruel. Because the people love the Lord. That's why we think, we're going through a whole lot. But it's nothing so much of what they went through here. Listen to this. We're going to go into when this is towards this time of the year. Towards Christmas. We're going to go into when the wise men. So start into when the wise men seen the star. And I know, they'll know, Steve. I seen this star not long ago. Me and her, I looked out the bathroom windows in there washing my face or something in the evening, and I seen a star right up yonder in the sky, never seen. Looked like as big as the moon. Never seen this star. It comes this time of year. It comes this time of year. Don't know what it is, but it's over there. Now I ain't been seeing it, but it's been cloudy, messy, but it's been up here. That's the star that God put in the heavens. I don't care. In my heart, I know that's a star. Why did it appear? Why did it disappear? We ain't been seeing that. See, the evening star, evening star bright, but that star, that's where the wise man sees. Oh, Lord Jesus. And then God come to him, the story. He come to him and said, hey, in what we're going to read here. Said, hey, I want y'all boys, y'all need to go worship the king. See, they didn't know him. He done told them. Go find him. And we'll go in a little deeper detail in just a minute about this. Listen to what we're talking about. Alex, listen. But, Debbie, come on, let's read something.
I'm going to start in Matthew chapter 2. I'm going to read verses 1 through 3. It says, now when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of Herod the king,
listen to this.
Behold, there came wise men from the east to Jerusalem, saying, Where is he that is born a King of the Jews? For we have seen his star in the east, and are come to worship him. When Herod the king had heard these things, he was troubled, and all Jerusalem with him.
Listen.
Then we're going to skip down and read verses 7 and 8.
Listen now, y'all.
Then Herod, when he had privately called the wise men, in other words, he pulled them over in secret, inquired of them diligently what time the star appeared. And he sent them to Bethlehem and said, Go and search diligently for the young child, and when ye have found him, bring me word again, that I may come and worship him also. Then we're going to read 11 and 12. And when they were come into the house, that's talking about the wise men, and when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And being warned of God in a dream that they should not return to Herod, they departed into their own country another way. You want to read the last verse?
Go ahead.
And verse 16 says, Then Herod, when he saw that he was mocked of the wise men, was exceeding wroth, and sent forth and slew all the children that were in Bethlehem and in all the coast thereof, from 2 years old and under, according to the time which he had diligently inquired of the wise men.
Y'all, put your brain into this right here. Think about this. See, the wise men came into a house. It didn't say he went to the manger. They've been following this star, we don't know how long. A year or 2 years, following this star. And then they come to Herod, the king, and was telling him, he said, I want to know where this boy is. Like she read there. Here he was, he's wanting the information. He didn't want nothing to make him look bad. Do nothing for him. But here it was, baby Jesus. Well, by this time in the house, we was talking, figure he might be in 2 years old. He done maybe 2 years old. God had warned Jesus' parents to get away from where they was at because the danger it was coming. Well, here, so I was talking about suffering. Me and her looked it up, but in that coastline, from where he was king to where his, more or less, the kingdom stopped, through the cities, was over 160 miles. Over 160 miles. If we went down from the coastline, she went to the coastline, they ain't talking about from it there in the depth, this is the coastline. Can imagine. 1 million plus. Now this was later at 30 years, or back when Moses, well backwards when Moses brought it, but let's look at the people was living down that coastline because that was their stuff. Fishing, eat fish and stuff, you know. That was probably cities, the way it shows. It's cities. Not even back into the countryside. He said, y'all kill them up to 2 years old. And it said in there, it called a name, but it said the whole countryside was in crying out. All the mamas and daddies. Because you know them didn't come up there and even say, well, how old is this young? Them soldiers come in there and if they looked like it might have been 3 years old. They killed them. Slaughtered them. Could have been 1 million right there. Or hundreds of thousands. Who knows? But all of them died. All the grieving. They might have killed 2 or 3 of their young because they didn't care. What did them soldiers care? They wasn't going to give information. They had to hurry up and get the job done. They might want to go eat something. They didn't care. They wanted to do what he said and get back home. 100 and some miles away. Went down that coastline and killed them all. But you know, all the crying out. But it was all, what my point is, it was all the suffering because Jesus was born. Mm-hmm. It goes along with what he died on the cross for.
Amen.
All the deaths that come before him. Mm-hmm. It was what? Us, for him. For what he was going to do for us.
Amen.
All them has died. Throughout all them down that coast, don't you know, it was tears were flowing. Those towns they went through. The mamas, all them. And if their parents got in the way, they killed them too.
You know they would.
If they, I'd be wanting to take my young'un. I don't care if they were soldiers, and it was killing them, whacking them, whatever. They probably killed them unto them. But all of this was because Jesus was born. He come into the world to save us.
Amen.
To save us. And that's something to think about right here. Woo, it's mind-boggling. It breaks my heart because all these had to die. That's what I was talking about. Sometimes we think we're going through so much hell and lose a lot. But look what they lost. Look what they lost. They might have lost 2 to 3 young'uns. Watched them get killed, slaughtered in front of their eyes. Them hollering, what else? Why? You didn't kill them nothing. They was just in killing. Supposed to kill. But that's something to get hope to right there. All because of Jesus. All the hell and stuff. And it's only them. What? All the disciples, you read about all them disciples, all of them went through hell. They was tortured. Some of them boiled and all. Some of them there. The little Hebrew boys wanted to know about Christ, and that king said, well, you do what I say, I'm throwing you in fire. Throwing in fire. But Jesus was with them.
Amen.
God was with them boys, like he is with us. He's going to go through everything. Where he went through the fire, he goes through the fire with us.
Amen.
But it goes on. All the sorrow and all the hell, it went on because of him. Then what he done by dragging the cross and stuff to Calvary, getting up on it and still dying for us and suffering for all our sins.
Amen.
Oh, Satan tried to stop him.
Yep.
Put him up on the mountain, you remember? Said, look here, I give you all this. And see, that's what's fooled the world. He said, to the world, young people, all the people, big, young, old, said, I give you the world. Look at that, how beautiful it is. Look at them cities. Look at all the beautiful, gorgeous stuff. Just look, Jesus, you have all this. Have it all, every bit of it, if you'll just bow down to me. You don't bow down to no man,
Amen.
except my God, my Father. And that's what we're supposed to do by him. Love him enough. We see all this sorrow and all the stuff back in it that was just for him. That had to happen because of him. For what he stood for. The old devil knew it. So he took them out. Old devil was in that old king. Like he was so many of them God took out. It's like we was talking about the other day. It might be just a little bit off what I'm talking about, but God, that old king, he was all this. He had all this and all this, and had all these women, had all this jewels, had all the stuff. He thought he was on the world. God come to him that day, and he says, I require your life tonight. Told him. He still didn't change. He ended up in hell. See? That's the way the people is today. Jesus went through all this, all the death, all the youngest, all the Jews over there, that pile of million, whatever, could have been over 1 million there. Ashes that he sent. Other places too. Because of God. That's why I want to make sure you know today, who can say that ain't a God?
Come on.
Who can say it ain't a God in the sky that created the earth? That died and done all of this. Or the people died for this. Well, we could have what we have today.
That's right.
Like I found out today, the other day, that you can't outdo him. You give God a little bit. That's like I talk about this like this right here. People know Him, have seen all the suffering, and seen all what God, Jesus stood for, and what all He's done in the past. From when He died on the cross, or when He was born, to what He can do now for us. But you give Him a little bit. I don't care if it's a little bit of praying. If it's a little bit, you can't outdo Him. But that little prayer, He does mighty things for us. But you gotta cry out from Him. You can cry out from your mouth all you want to. Ain't gonna do you a hill beating. But you have to cry out from here. You have to cry out from your heart, from the love that He's got for you. You know, like you would anything. But we use our heart to talk to Him. You know, use your heart. Your heart's there. Ain't it beating? Mine goes crazy, but it's still there. Went there to look just the other day. She found the first time I got this. How many years ago it was?
2005,
2005.
first one.
This kept me going. God had a purpose. 2005. And I'm telling you today, what God's saying here, nothing too like a song, no valley too wide, no mountain too tall, since He can do all things for us, everything. That's what it's all about, encouragement. God gives us encouraging words, and He gives us strict words that if you don't listen to Him, where you going? But He said all the hell and all these little youngins and all these people died for you. They died for you, Beverly. All them little babies that was killed was for you. That happened because of Jesus. It was for us, for me. All of them was just for me and for you. All of us. See, people think, well, He just, we get in our mindset, well, Jesus didn't want the cross. But look at all what happened before He got there.
Amen.
Before He got there. He suffered like hell when He was going there. Old devil tried to kill Him. Devil done everything in the world like he does us today. But we got Jesus that hung up there to call Him. He whipped His hind end one time, and He can whip him any day, any time we call Him. He kicked that old devil head and rear end where He wants to kick him. No telling where He kicked him when He went to hell and got the keys. You know what, Aunt? There's no telling what He done to him, but He gave him a whooping. He took the keys from him and said, "Oh boy, you might have took me up on the mountain. You might have took me over here, but I show you today what I stand for." And He stands for it for all of us, every day. But like I said, I found out this week, you do a little something, God can repay you for so much. Not from me, but for just a blessing. It might not be money. It just might be other things He blesses you in. He might be saving your life with a blessing to something you done for Him. It's all these things is what God blesses us with. That's why He says, I don't matter how bad it gets, what it does. Read that little bit in the other place. Listen to this right here. Tell them where you're going.
I'm going to Exodus chapter 1. It's the second book of the Old Testament. I'm going to read verses 8 through 10 and then 14 through 20.
Listen to this.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And the reason it says that is because the king before this king was, he loved Joseph, and Joseph he pretty much took care of the kingdom. And there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. And then we'll read 14 through 20. It says, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage, in mortar and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. In other words, it was just hard labor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah. And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then ye shall kill him, but if it be a daughter, then she shall live. But the midwives feared God, and knew and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered, or in other words, before the midwives come in unto them. Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
See, that's what we was talking about a while ago. See, that king, he wanted the midwives, and y'all know the midwives was one that took care of them when they was having a baby. It was somebody come in like a nurse, you know. So many back when our oldest was born. It's like when back in this day, it was like people come, might have been a neighbor, midwife come in to help with the labor. That's what they did then. Well, that king told them, like we was talking about a while ago, the king said, well, y'all take them and drown them, kill them, get rid of them, the boys. They're going to might overtake us. See, they all died for Christ. What did die then? But they believed in the Lord and saved them. So many of them, but so many listened to the king and killed him because it was all revolved around Christ, the deaths. And then the ones I told you about up and down the coastline, 160 some miles. You could about see the blood running down that coast from them little ones. Well, you know they were stick right there. That's where Jesus went and got the disciples, most of them right there. Old fishermen boys. Because there was food there. And they shipped the stuff there back into the country. Dry the fish up. But it all was for us. Everything was done for each one of us and what he done here. Realize that. Realize that. You know, Christmas coming up is not only him dying on the cross, him was born. It's for what he went through with. Things. What's going on. Just remember what it's all about. All I can say, all I can tell you, take it and run with it. Run with Jesus. Because if you don't, we don't know him and we don't hang on, we're going to end up a place that we don't want to be. If we hang on and just all our might, everything we got to get us through. Jesus Christ, he'd all that torture, all the hell, everything else. He promised us he'd get us through. He'll get us through and he's going to do it. Ain't no way around it. He'll do it for us.
Amen.
He didn't say what we're going to have to go to, but he told us Didn't he say, I'll be right with you?
Amen.
I went through this last operation with this thing. And first, I had Jesus with me that time.
That's right.
I had him with me when I went in there, and it was different. It wasn't the same as the first time. I was scared to death. Because I didn't know what was going to happen, didn't know if I was going to get out of there. But when I went in there this last time, I went in there talking to the Lord. And I sat there and looked up the ceiling and was talking to Jesus, just as calm as a cucumber. Because he was with me. He was with me. He done calmed me down. He done give me a nerve pill. Done shot a few Xanax. But it was them from Jesus. See? He calmed me down, went in there, done what I done. Did her too. She'll tell you the truth. She didn't witness to it. Amy knows. When she went in operation, she wasn't tore all pieces. And wasn't called the pain man, called the pain man with Jesus Christ. Went in there with her. She tell you, both of them operations, major operation. Could have died right there. But she went to him. Went to it with Jesus. He took her through it. Took her through it. He can take us through it. I'll shut up. Just take a hold of that. Y'all people out there on this video need to listen. This time of year, you know, change things. Call on him more. Listen to what I said. What dying and suffering and all the hell that people went through just for you, just for me, everybody. Not one just to hung on the cross. Then it was from the start and the beginning. This thing wasn't just a first little thing. It was continued. Life lost, people, things, babies, things, till we get what we got. So remember that. And remember, love everybody like you love yourself. Sometimes it's tough. It's tough. We might have to love them at a distance. Praise the Lord. You love them in distance. But don't give up on love them. God didn't give up on me. He beat me around, but finally he beat me enough. Show me I needed him. All right. Let's sing us a song.